Hello, welcome once again. I want to finish another story, or a story that I started in two previous videos about the first time I met Jay Leno. I left off with having met Jay Leno at the curbside in front of the Comedy and Magic Club in Hermosa Beach, California, with Jimmy Brogan, who was his head writer for the first 9 years that Jay hosted The Tonight Show. And Jimmy had contacted me and asked me to come down and work with him and Jay at the Comedy Magic Club. And so I came down there, and I just met them out front with security all around us. And they began to usher us back into the club. Now, the show had already started, but there was a warm-up act up there. And so Jay had a little bit of time. And Jimmy at that time was making a demo DVD to send to a cruise line to get a cruise liner job as a comedian on a cruise liner for, X amount of days out at sea. And he really wanted to try that because he'd never done that before. And he thought that if he put an introduction on his demo video that was an introduction to Jimmy Brogan by Jay Leno, he would be a shoo-in. And who wouldn't? If Jay Leno was doing the introduction to your audition video, I think you'd probably get the job with Jay Leno's endorsement. So Jay was going to shoot an endorsement. Now, Jimmy told him, he said, "Jay, I just need you to do 60 seconds. Just, a quick little introduction, to give me an endorsement." Jay said, "Be glad to do it, be glad to do it." So we got into the Comedy Magic Club, and Jimmy set up his camera equipment, and Jay got in place, and they set the lighting. And there's a little stage back behind the big room where the comedy show was. There's a little small performance stage back there, and a little area where you can sit. And I don't know, they probably have little intimate shows in there. And that's where we were. And so Jay got in place, and he shot a video, and he must have gone 5 minutes talking about Jimmy Brogan. And when they were done, Jimmy said, "Jay, that's really good, but I just need like 60 seconds. Can you do just a 60-second spot for me?" Sure. Jay got up there and he did another 3-minute spot. And Jimmy said, "Jay, I really only need like 60 seconds. And Jay said, okay, I'll shorten it up." He got up there and he did another 3-minute spot. Jimmy looked at me and he said, "That's about the best I'm going to get. I'll just edit out 60 seconds of it for the cruise liner job." Now, fast forward a couple months later, I called Jimmy, and because I knew he had just returned from this cruise liner gig that he obviously got from Jay's endorsement, and I said, "Jimmy, how did it go on the cruise line?" He said it was terrible. He said it was absolutely terrible. I said, "Why is that? I've seen you work. I've done a couple of shows with you." And he said, "I know. But my show," he said, "it's just like the first time I auditioned for The Tonight Show with Johnny Carson." He said, "I went in front of Freddie DeCordova, the director, and he said, 'Okay, do your act for me,' in his office, right?" And he said, "My show normally is, 'So, where you from? What do you do?'" And trust me, Jimmy Brogan is an orchestra conductor for a comedy audience. I have never seen a man that can control the audience like Jimmy Brogan. He asks them, he talks to them, his whole act is riffing with the audience, and he is the master. I have never seen him fail to bring the house down doing that. He said, "Now imagine me in front of Freddie DeCordova. 'So, where you from? What do you do?'" No, it doesn't work one-on-one. It works in a comedy crowd. And he said he had a really hard time auditioning for one person. But he did get the gig, and he got on The Tonight Show. I'll tell you one of his road stories that he told me that was pretty funny. But I'll do that in another video. But this time he said, I'm on a cruise ship and I'm doing 2 shows a night for 5 days. It's the same audience every night. 2 shows a night for 5 days. After the third day, I had gone through, where are you from? What do you do? Everybody on the cruise ship. It was a nightmare after that. Now, not that he doesn't have some bits that don't rely on audience participation, but a lot of them spring off of the audience participation. Once he starts talking about one job with somebody that they do, he can spring off with a crazy job that he had that kind of matches that. So it's not that he doesn't have material and he doesn't write material. His main part of his show depends on riffing with the audience. I've never been really good at riffing with the audience. I pretty much stay away from the audience as much as I can. But again, it goes back to that lesson about comedy where be ready to be in the right place at the right time and don't try to push it. Because sometimes what you want is not what you really are ready for. It's maybe not even what you need at the time. So don't push. Don't push. Continue to build. And that goes for any career. Continue to build your expertise in your career field. And don't push. It's my little spirit talk. Hey, nice chatting with you. Catch you next time.